This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, one moment.
Abhishek,
Yes.
Vishal, I have just a simple query. This session is for the complete beginner or what? I mean, because I
Yeah,
don't have any programming background, so
I'll answer
just
your question now. Yeah, I'll
okay.
get to that, Vishal. If you give me a moment, I was just answering this guy Sandeep. He was pinging me personally. So okay, let's start it off now. You guys can see my screen as well, right? Okay. So this program is designed in a way that if someone who doesn't know any of programming, like nothing like Java, Python, or any other language he doesn't know, it's fine. I'll teach you the basics of Python and then we'll progress to Selenium, how to handle Selenium with Python. So did I answer your question, Vishal?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay. So the point is, let me start it off in a way. Today, I would like to give a demo session because that is what is planned. I will tell you the intro of Python, what is the timeline of it, when it started, what was the famous version, and what is the current version today. And then same with Selenium. Okay, when it started, what is famous of it, and which supports Selenium, what we can do with Selenium Python, and then why Selenium with Python only. If you would have Googled or searched in YouTube or any other things, you would have got Selenium with Java. If you are already into some software companies, you would have searched in Stack Overflow or somewhere for a solution, you would have got Selenium with Java. That is the most famous thing. But why Python? Why we need to choose Python when Java is already existing? And then by the end of the session, I'll try to launch a browser, do some clicks here and there so that you will get an idea what you are going to learn by the time we finish this course. Okay, let me progress now. Okay, today we are here to learn Selenium Python because somewhere we know Python is gaining more popularity. So if you see, according to the research, this is from the Statista research, if you see 25% of the population among the programmers, they are using Python or they are choosing Python. Because it is having more popularity because it is very easy to write. It is very easy to learn. And the most important thing, it is very easy to read. If someone has written a code, if I write a code today, if I show it to you, you don't have any background knowledge of any programming language, it will be same like simple English reading. You will see, okay, I've written a if, I've written a while, I've written a for. So it is plain simple English written over there, and no fancy things like putting a flower brackets, semicolons, or complex things what you see in other programming language. When I started off learning programming when I was very young, I started with C language. That is what we all used to do. So when I started with C language, I found it very difficult on my first day to define a variable because they told me you have to write a flower brackets, you have to tell you are instantiating a variable, you have to tell what is the variable name, and then you have to pass the variable. So to write x is equal to 1 or a is equal to 1, to define any variable in C language, we used to take 3-4 lines. But in Python, it's just how you write in maths. A is equal to 1, simple. Python will understand that a is equal to 1. So in our program, we'll see how to define variables and everything. So if you see our course content, let me go to our course content for a moment. Okay, if you see our course content, so once the demo is done, we will see which IDE we are going to use. Okay, what is an IDE? IDE is nothing but an interactive development environment where a programmer can install this and code in a specific language so that he can interact with the machine. So in our course, we are going to use Anaconda. If you guys are already experienced in using some other programming language, you would have already used Eclipse or else PyCharm or anything else. Okay, but in our course, we are going to use Anaconda because this course is designed thinking of an individual who cannot code or who has not coded before. So Anaconda, I feel, according to me, is pretty easy to handle as an IDE, and it has a lot of suggestions that it gives us as a tip or a hint for us so that we can progress further. And then how to install Python, how to install Anaconda, and how to progress further on this. So after that, if you see the course content from line chapter 3 to chapter 12, chapter 11, so we will see all the Python stuff, like how to write anything in Python, how to define a function, how to write a class, what is object oriented programming, all these things. And once Python is done, I'll start off with Selenium. Once you start off with Selenium, how to read an HTML of a page, okay, how to write XPaths, how to write CSS. And once we learn that, I will practically show you every day how to do automations with Selenium and Python. And how easier is it, you will tell me by the time you finish this course. So we'll keep it very practical, we'll keep it very interactive, and if you see, we are finishing it off by 24 chapters. So we are given 30 hours of timeline. I think it will be finished somewhat by then, or a bit 1 or 2 extra. So any questions until now? Anyone has, like, what are we going to cover, or you are having any other expectations than what the course content has showed to you? Yes or no, guys? Or any question?
So Abhishek, you are covering any framework in that?
Okay, good question. So we would see PyTest, and other than that, I have already written some codes. I have built robots. If you have asked me, with Selenium Python, I have built few robots practically in few companies. So that is a application monitoring robot. So I will show you how to write a skeleton of it and how to execute it. So we will see PyTest. Along with that, we will see how to practically implement any automation.
Okay.
Any questions? Good. Can I progress then? Okay. One question I have in mind. I see some 8 people joined here. Among 8, how many of you have already done programming or know Python? Let's keep it interactive, guys. If you haven't done, you can be open. You haven't done.
Hi sir. So I have not done any. I have not used any programming yet.
Wonderful.
Say.
No problem. No
Same
problem. We'll
for
cover. Okay. Awesome then.
Yes,
Okay.
Sandeep here. I'm also not done any programming language.
No problem. We will go from basics. Yes. Okay. So fine. So because majority of the population I see are like new to programming. Let's see. Okay. So you guys can see my screen, right? So Python was invented in 1991 by Guido van Rossum. So he is a developer from Google itself, the mother of all the softwares, if you ask me. And if you drill down, Selenium again is a software from Google developer only. So today we are learning Google products here in this session. So Python was first developed in 1991 by Guido van Rossum, and then it was first public use released in 1991 itself, but its popularity came in the decade of 2010. Okay, when people found out that it is very easy to write, and when the data, especially the banking and financial data, increased, and Python is very good in handling data transformations and analysis, and you know how big it is in data science nowadays, and its convenience. Looking at Python program, you can write any automation, and that's why because of automations, it's gaining popularity. When you want to automate a web driver or a web browser, we are using Selenium along with Python. We'll see today. By the end of this course, you'll feel how easy it is. Within 5-6 of lines, you are doing some tasks. Okay. Python's first website was launched in 1997, and then Python second version was launched in the year of 2000, and then the Python software foundation has been started in 2001. So all of us here are learning Python nowadays. The first basic thing why everyone is learning Python, because it is free, and the number of libraries or modules that it has is pretty huge, and the developers who are contributing to it is very huge. You have any question in Python, you just Google it, you will definitely find a solution. And the convenience or the development is so easy with Python. Any doubt or python.org you reach out to, you will have a solution over there, and it is very, very easy to use. Okay, why to learn Python? I've been continuously repeating, it is very easy, fun to scripting language. So because many of you are not into programming, there is something called as object oriented programming in programming language, which is called as short form OOPS. So this concept is very useful. So we will learn OOPS concept as well. I won't go into detail today because I want to give more focus on Selenium Python, but in our program we will learn OOPS in detail as well. And then Python has a lot of libraries. So today you are learning one of the module, which is Selenium. Okay, if someone wants to get into data science, they can use Pandas, NumPy, they can use Matplotlib, they can use visualization Matplotlib as well as, and other than that, they want to do something in GUI, they can use Tincter. And then if someone wants to use what do you say, name anything. Okay, let's get into that, I'll tell you. So if someone wants to use Selenium, then it is mostly for launching a browser, doing some repetitive task which someone is doing, and then close it. So it is most likely like a replicating a human task, what a person does. Instead of doing a human resource doing it, Python can do it along with Selenium. And if you guys have heard of web scraping, you can go to any particular website. Suppose you want to go to Trivago, you want to scrape through that website HTML, and you want to know what are the flight rates if you want to travel from Hyderabad to Chennai, you want to travel from India to UK. You can scrape through that website, get all the information into an Excel sheet, and receive in an email to us. It's very simple. You can do that in some 100 lines or 70 lines itself. The programming will be so simple with Python. And the most boom word nowadays is data science. If you want to use, you can use Matplotlib, Seaborn, and if you want to perform any operations with Python, there is a beautiful module called Pandas. If you are repetitively using Excel sheets in your office, or your daily task is morely based on data analysis, which is again Excel sheet, XLSX, CSV, or anything, if you learn Pandas, you will never ever open an Excel sheet manually again. You will just write Python Pandas programming. That's it. It is very simple, and trust me, I have learned Pandas just 5 years before, and I was very good at Excel before that. I used to write VBA scripting also. After I learned Pandas with Python, I never go back to Excel sheet and open it. I'll just write using Python. It is that simple. So once you learn these things, no, it is very useful for you, and you will feel very convenient. So I will stop now and ask you whether you guys have any questions on what is this kind of different fields that we can use with Python, like how Python can support all this. Anyone has any questions? Someone wanted to ask? I got a static
No.
volume. Okay, wonderful. Let me progress then. Awesome. So let's see the next slide. Okay, this is about the Selenium. So Selenium was first launched in 2004 by same Google developer named Jason Huggins. And then once Selenium was started, Selenium has two things. One is like a Selenium recorder, and one more is the Selenium WebDriver. So in 2005, one more guy joined into it. It was Dan, and they together developed the Selenium. And the beautiful thing about Selenium also is like it is also an open source. So nothing that we are going to pay for any of the license. So if you have heard of any automation nowadays in the market, you will have heard about Selenium with Java or any other programming language or Python or anything. And the other parallel thing you would have heard robotic process automation. So if you want to do RPA, those are licensed things and you have to pay money for it. But today in the market, any of the company, if they want to do any automation in DevOps or anything, they will prefer open source software. So that is why Selenium WebDriver is gaining its popularity nowadays. The behind program, either you use Python or Java, it's up to you. But Python is gaining its popularity. That's why people are using Selenium driver with Python. And in 2008, this Selenium WebDriver was first launched. And today in 2020, last year, they were launching Selenium 4 version, but the most stable version till now is 3.1459. I will tell you why I am being very specific on Selenium and Python versions. There is a lot of mix and match that we have to do proper automations. Like if you want to use Selenium 3 version, you have to go with the Selenium 3.1 version. If you want to go with Python 2 version, then you have to go with Selenium 2.7 version. You cannot use a higher version. So there is always a compatibility issue when you want to use Selenium with Python, and you have to get the right match. Otherwise, your automations might not work 100% correct. Okay, so let me progress with why Selenium with Python. Okay, Selenium, obviously, as I told you, you can do Java, you can do Python, and you can do VB scripting as well to do Selenium launching of a browser or any of the automation. But end of the day, we are learning here Python with Selenium. So that's why we are focusing on Selenium with Python. And Python is very easy. Trust me, by the end of this course, you will feel Python is the most easiest programming language to get into. Someone doesn't know any of the programming language, trust me, if you put a lot of effort, you are seriously dedicated, within 30 days, you can understand what is Python programming and you can start writing a program by 30 days. Okay, so nowadays, everything is on cloud. Yes or no? You guys agree with me that everyone is moving to cloud nowadays? Guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, the default answer is yes. Thank you for answering. So when you want to connect to a cloud, we will use APIs. Okay, when you want to use it through programming. So when you want to connect through API, what will happen? The return data that we are going to get will be JSON data. Don't worry, JSON data also I'll show you what is the JSON data. So the return data that we are going to get is JSON data. So the data that we are going to get, once it is in the format of JSON data, how we can read in Python? It is very simple. Again, we are going to have a default module in Python which is named as JSON, and then it is very simple. It is just one line of code where you write JSON.read particular file name. That's it. The moment you write that, it will read you the entire content of it. And once we learn the Python concepts, how to handle a dictionary in Python, you will handle JSON data very simply, and we are going to see it in our programming course. So you trust me, connecting to any API, retrieving the data and accordingly transform the data, Python is very, very, very easy, and we are going to cover that topic. Okay, and suppose today I am using a Windows machine. Among you guys might be someone is using a Mac, and in my office we use Unix or else Linux or some other OS. So among those, this Python is supported in all the platforms. There is no restriction. But the only thing is, when you are using an older version of an OS, obviously you have to go for an older version of Python. So suppose my Linux in my office, because of the compatibility of our applications, we are having an older version of Linux. So that older version of Linux, we can use only Python 2.0 version. We cannot use the latest version of Python, which is Python 3.9 version. So we will have some compatibility issues, but it's okay. If you are using an older version of an OS, we have to use older version of programming language. So that kind of compatibility issues will be there. But the good thing about Selenium and Python, no, you can use on any older version and still you can do automations, and you can use it on today's latest version also, and you can do the automation. So suppose you like Firefox, you can do automation using Firefox. You like Chrome, you can do it using Chrome. Someone has a Safari, they can use. If someone has an Opera, they can use it also. And the good part about all these things, Selenium is open source. Okay, let's progress to the next slide. So I will tell you one practical situation. We were using some third-party application monitor. So let me tell you what is an application monitor. We were having some application in our company. So every 5 minutes, that application, which was a third-party one, which we are paying the money, that was checking whether our application is working fine. There is no issue with the application or the application is not done. So for checking that, we were paying huge sum of money, and that application, that monitor of third party was not giving us 100% result. It was failing without, even though the application was fine, and we were paying a lot of money. That's why we did not like that application. What we thought of, let's use Selenium WebDriver. Along with that, I was good with Python. Let's automate this thing and create an application performance monitor, and let's schedule it every 5 minutes, and we will only monitor. Trust me, that has been live for 4 years and still it is working, and we have signed off that third party monitor and we are saving huge sum of money. So the good part about Selenium and Python, no, you can do automations that in turn will reduce the human resource count. And if you are using some third party applications, you can replace those and build your own Selenium with Python automations, which will in turn help you guys out. Okay, so in our course, we are going to see that monitor code as well. How we have written that, what kind of Python coding was done on that, what was the practical difficulties that I have faced while I was coding those applications, and what you guys are also going to face, because I've been in and out used this Selenium and Python. So I can give you my practical knowledge, and I can tell you what kind of issues that you might face when you write your own application code for this using this Selenium and Python. So any one of you know what is Selenium? I just give me an answer, guys. It's okay if you guys are wrong as well. Just give me an answer. What is Selenium? What do you know about Selenium? Any one of you? If you guys don't know, be open. You can say I don't know.
It's
because that would set an expect. Sorry, Vijay, you were saying something?
It's a jar.
Okay. Fine. What you are saying is just not completely correct. Selenium is just a open source software which we are going to use as a module, okay, within Python, and we will use this to launch any particular browser and do the automations. I will show you in some time how to do the automation also. I'll show you practically how to write the code. So if you are having an application in your office, assume you are using some Oracle web application, and daily one particular resource is there to do some activities. He will go click on some buttons, import some files into the application, log off, so that the data is reflecting in your financial application whom you are reporting to. That is a daily day job for us, the data reflection in our applications. So instead of a resource importing it, because that task is very repetitive, all the button clicks and everything is similar, we can do that automation using Python with Selenium, wherein we suppose I have used Firefox. I can use Firefox, launch that particular application, log in into it, click on few buttons what I am telling you, pass that file into the application, import that file, close that file, and log out from the application. And whatever the clicks I'm doing, I will report back in the email to whoever the team is, saying that this process was completed successfully. And we will give the entire log what was done within that clicks. And if something goes wrong, if something has failed within this automation, we will report that log where that particular button click has failed, and then we'll report to the application team or the development team of this Python, stating that, see boss, I cannot do this process and it failed at this particular button, so please go and check why this automation has failed. Okay, so let's see, let's progress. Okay, I got some message, let me see that. Okay, someone is telling API. Yes, Peter, you have any question on API? Okay, fine. One moment. Awesome. Let's progress. Okay, did you guys hear Selenium with Java? And any one of you coded in Java before out of the population that I'm having here? I'll wait for some 5 seconds. If I don't get an answer, I'll consider no. Okay, then the answer would be no. Okay, but you would have heard that Java is bit complex. Okay, and you have to learn a lot of things, and there are a lot of syntaxes that are present within a Java when you have to write it. But Python, you trust me, there is just 4 white spaces which is called as indent in Python. Okay, you just need to give 4 white spaces and a colon, that's it. There is no semicolon, there is no nothing. The Python syntax will be very beautiful and very plain, and you can read through the program and do it. So if I write some code, if I give to you guys today, you guys will look at it and you will feel, okay, this is very simple. What I have written will be pretty much in English only, which I will show you in some time. Okay, and as I told you, Python has a lot of libraries, so it is very helpful, and I'm telling you, it is going to be very simple. Okay, and then what will you learn by end of this course? You will, trust me, you will get very good knowledge of Python. And as I promised you, I will show you how to write monitoring applications robots, and then I will show you how to automate WhatsApp messages. So I will tell you my personal experience. One of my very good friend, colleague in my company, last year he approached me. He told me that, Abhishek, in India especially, a lot of people, when they get married, they call huge number of people. Like my friend was calling somewhere around 500-600 people. So nowadays everyone sends the WhatsApp invitation only, and the other thing is call, but they will send the WhatsApp invitation. So my friend told me very clearly, see boss, I will give you my invitation photo, and then I'll give you my location where the wedding is going to happen, and then I'll give you my contacts. Okay, you write a Python program for me so that I cannot send the message for 500-600 people manually. I feel it is tired, or 1000 people I don't want to send. Because we are good at Python, we will do this automation wherein I will give you the contacts, you just give me the program, I will just execute the program, and the program should itself send the invitation to the people, and I will just call them after that and tell them that I'm getting married. So this program, what we are going to learn at the end of this course, I will show you how to write that WhatsApp automating messages program as well, and I'll run and show it to you how you can execute it. So later point in time, you can automate any of the website. You want to automate Twitter, you go do it. You want to automate Facebook, you go do it. It's up to you guys. But in our course, we are going to cover WhatsApp messaging automation. And by the end of this course, believe me, you will be good with Selenium and Python. And if you practice a bit, you will be an expert as well. Okay, so as I told you, let me show you some piece of very basic code what Selenium and Python does. Okay, so let me take any particular website, and this website is the one which I'm going to use for teaching you guys how to do automation of any particular browser. Okay, so this website, when you launch it, you see it is very plain, and then there is something you want to practice it. I click on it. I want to simple form demo. Within the form, I want to enter some text. Okay, and then fill this form. So all these things, these are kind of repetitive. If suppose instead of test today, I'm writing Abhishek. Tomorrow some Vijay will come. Day after some other person will be there. Okay, some XYZ. So you have to fill this form. These kind of tasks are very repetitive. If suppose you are thinking of some automations in your work, in your practical reality, wherein we all will have some administrative work within our applications, wherein we have to add few particular resources who are getting joined into our organization, and we have to provide them access. That will be very routine, wherein you will log in into some IDM, you will take their SSO IDs, dump into that, close it. That is kind of a repetitive task, wherein you have to log in, add that person, close that window, and then he will get the access. So all these things are repetitive. So when you know the link, you have a web browser for it, website for it, just launch it. Use Selenium Python automation and execute that program every day. You take the SSO ID, dump it over there, it will close it automatically, and there is no need of you doing it manually. So when I show you this website is looking like this because behind there is an HTML written for it. Okay, any one of you among you know what is an HTML?
Yeah, yeah, it is a hypertext markup language. It is
Okay.
used for it's a front end basically.
Okay,
For writing
very good. I just forgot to mention one point. So when you are doing Selenium with Python, this is going to be a front end automation. And Vijay has asked me a question. Did you use any framework in the WhatsApp messaging automation? I did not use any framework, and that code is very, very simple, and I'll show you. Okay, it's very straightforward. Just a py file, you need to execute it, but there are few modules that I've used. One is the pandas module. You need not use the pandas module, you can use the CSV module, and then other than that, obviously the Selenium only that I've used. Okay, so how to read the HTML of any particular web page? So if you want to do Selenium with Python automation or Selenium with Java automation, you need to know how to write an XPath or how to write a CSS for a particular click. So if I click here, no, this click behind there is an XPath or a CSS. Okay, if I want to click on anything else, so if I want to click on this button, there is going to be a XPath behind it. So we should learn how to write XPath and CSS. We are going to teach you how to write an XPath and a CSS, how to figure out the HTML. So just for an example, let me do this, whatever I showed you. I will launch this browser, then I will click on this button, and I will click on this button again, and then I will pass a test message here. I will use automation and I'll show you. Okay, but before that we have to write XPath, no? So because today is a demo, I will show you how you can read the XPath. Okay, so first of all, you can either right click and get the inspect here, or else you can, in your machine, if you are using Windows, you can press function F12. That will also bring your inspect window. So once you get your inspect window, what you have to do, you see a button here which is like a square and with a pointer symbol. Click on this, go to any particular button that you want to read the HTML. Okay, I will go click on this start practicing. When I come to this start practicing, no, it is highlighting me with a blue color here that this is having a parent tag node of A, and this particular button which is start practicing is having an ID called button basic example, and then it is having some class, and then it is having a text called start practicing. trust me, I will teach you how to write an XPath, and it is very easy. It is not at all difficult. So for this particular button, the XPath would be, I will give you a cheat sheet also in this course, how to write an XPath. The XPath for this button is going to be something like, let me open a Notepad++. In the meanwhile, if you guys have any question, you can ask me. Anyone has any question? Keep it interactive, guys.
Can we also add an extension CrowPath?
Yes, yes, I will show you how to use a CrowPath as well. But it's up to you. If you recall, there was Firebug and FirePath, because you have asked me this question. I know you got that basic knowledge. So there was Firebug and FirePath before in Firefox. That was very helpful. You need not even write an XPath for it. It used to give. Even CrowPath also, if you install that extension, it will show you what is the XPath directly. But today, Firebug and FirePath have got deprecated, and there is no development community for it, so that is not working. So tomorrow might be CrowPath also, someone might not develop it and it will be deprecated. So my motive, out of my experience, learning how to write an XPath is a better thing, and trust me, it is very simple. Once you know how to write, you will not use any add-on or extensions. Okay. Okay.
So, sir,
Let me.
for the XPath,
Yes,
so for
tell
the
me.
XPath, how to write, I mean, you're going to explain, but the relative XPath and the absolute XPath, I know. I mean, I have just
Yes.
heard about it. So how to distinguish whether we need to write which kind of XPath? I mean,
Okay, I'll give you the answer. So whatever you're saying is relative, and the other one, we call it as dynamic and static. Okay. So dynamic XPath, most probably, okay, I'll tell you out of my personal experience. When you are using any application which was built by Oracle or SAP or something, they will make sure that when you see button basic example and you don't see any numbers, no? But in an application which is provided by a third party, most probably there will be a number like 0, 1, 2, something like that. So every time you will log in into this page, there will be a number here. Okay. So what will happen if you take button basic example as your ID, and there was a 0 or a 1 here, you take the 0 also. What will happen? No, next time you log in into this page, this automation will not be able to click on this. Okay. So for that case, you have to write dynamic XPath. How you can write dynamic XPath? No, it is very, very simple. Instead of writing ID is equal to something, you can write contains ID basic example. And if you are not sure that you will get this particular XPath only, you can add on with class as well. So what you can do, contains @class comma so and so. Okay, so you can add this thing as well, and you can close your XPath. So it's very simple writing an XPath. So we will have a cheat sheet for it. I'll show you 1 second. So how to write an XPath, I will teach you everything. Need not worry on that, and I'll give you a cheat sheet as well. So you can go through this cheat sheet and practice after I tell you. It is very simple and straightforward. So did I answer your question of static and dynamic XPath?
yes, sir. Because in
Okay,
I've
fine.
seen in ProPath, we are having the option of
Yes,
native
because that is a third-party application, no? CrowPath is an add-on. What you are asking for Chrome, you can use CrowPath. So that is a kind of an add-on. It will automatically give it to you. So I would say, okay, if you are comfortable using a CrowPath, it's okay, you use it. But if it gets deprecated as a FirePath, after that you will face difficulty in writing a XPath or a CSS. It's better, I will tell you, you try to learn how to write an XPath. You will not use that add-ons. Okay. So
Okay.
coming back to our this thing of automating this website. So let me take that website now. One moment. Okay. For this button, I was writing the XPath. So I wrote ID and I wrote node name. So we will learn everything. So the XPath was the node name. One moment. I will put it side by side. Give me a moment. Sorry. Sorry about that. I just got a call. I gave it to someone else. Okay. So let me scroll it to the right. Inspect. So here you see tag name is A, ID is equal to so and so. So tag name is A, ID is equal to so and so. So I retrieve the ID for that. And then once you launch this browser, no, let me launch the browser and show you first of all. So one more key important point here, no, let me tell you first of all. If you want to use Firefox browser, you need to use Gecko driver, which is supported by Firefox community only. So if you were using older version of Python, which is Python 2, okay, you need not use this Gecko driver. But to support Python 3, wherein the default Firefox launch was restricted in Selenium and Python, what they have done, no need to use Gecko driver in Python 2. But in Python 3, you need to use Gecko driver. Okay. So for if you want to use Chrome, then you need to use Chrome driver. It's up to you. Whichever browser you are convenient, you can use that driver. And this is also free. You can just Google Gecko driver. It will give you out that website. Just navigate through that and download whichever version latest is there according to your requirement. If you want it for Windows, Linux, Mac, anything, it's up to you. Okay. Once you download that, let me go to the program. Anyone has any question why a Gecko driver is needed? Okay, I have a question from Vijay, which is like how much of Python we need to learn so that we can do automation. Okay, if you know the basics of data types, if you know how to write a function, that would be sufficient for doing automations. You need not get into the concept of OOPS, which is object-oriented programming for doing automation with Python. Okay, you need to know how to write a function, very simple functions, and you need to know how to write XPaths. That would be very sufficient for you. For Firefox browser, we need to get Gecko driver. Yes, the answer is yes. If you are using Python 3 version, then we have to use Gecko driver. If you are using Chrome, you need to use Chrome driver. Okay, it is very simple. How to use it is very straightforward. You have to write driver dot I'm defining a variable here. I will teach you all this line by line once we get in deep into this. WebDriver dot Firefox. You have to tell where my Gecko driver is lying. My Gecko driver is lying in this particular location on my machine. So I just passed that location. Let me show you. Let me launch this. These are called as modules. I will teach you what are modules and how to do the import. This is called as module import. So once you run this, no, if you see, I don't have any Firefox open here on my machine. So once I run it, a Firefox window will pop up for me. I have executed the program. Let's just give 2 minutes. It will open the Firefox window. You see the Firefox window has got popped up here. You see, I am getting that website, which is seleniumeasy.com/test. So here seleniumeasy.com/test. Okay. Now when I launch it in default mode, you see this is not in a maximize window mode. How to maximize window? It is very simple again. You can take this. The syntax is going to be pretty simple. I will just give a time dot sleep. I'll tell you why time dot sleep. There is something called as exclusive wait, implicit wait, and there is called as time dot sleep also. I will explain you everything through the course. So I will maximize this window. The next time run, the window will be fully maximized like this. Okay. Now in this particular window, I am getting a new pop-up window here. So to handle this also, I need to click no. I don't want to get this selenium.exe right now. So how to do that? Again, I will figure out the XPath. I'll go to HTML. I will read it. And what is it? It is having a class node. And here in the text, if you see, there is something called as no thanks. I can use the ID as well. I mean class as well here, but I will use the text. So how to write the XPath? It is very simple, straightforward again. Node name, I'm using the text field and I'm using no thanks. Okay, so I will add this to our code again. Now it is very simple. Or else you can use close as well. 1 second. Okay, now once I close this, I have to scroll through this page. If you see, I have to scroll down and then I have to click on this start practicing button. So to scroll down also, there is a particular syntax for it. So just you need to add that. You see, it is very simple. Execute script, Windows scroll. How much of a resolution you want to scroll? I just randomly gave some 400 number. So you scroll from 0 to 400. And then once I scroll down, I have to click on this button. Again, I have to inspect the element, take this element, and then within this element, what am I having? ID is equal to button basic example. So I have to write that XPath again. So I'm giving driver dot find element by button basic example. So once I click on it, my motive was to click on this simple form. So I will check the XPath again. So see here, this is having class list group item or else text simple form demo. So simple again, I have to take this. See, simple form demo. So sometime back, I don't recall the name, might be Vijay. He asked me like dynamic XPath or static XPath, relative XPath, all those things. So I wasn't sure whether this particular class list group item, you see lot of duplicates here. And your XPath should always be a unique XPath. It should not be a duplicate XPath, so that when you have a unique XPath only, the Selenium can do its automation. If you see, if I take only class, then I will have so many duplicate items. So along with class, I had to group something else. So what I have done, I have grouped the text field here, simple form demo. If you see my XPath, it is div class. Under div, there is a class. Under div, list group. Under this list group, I am going for a class. Within that, I am taking text of simple form demo. So I am combining the previous node along with the current node of A. We will go through everything in detail, how to write XPath. You need not worry today. So just for showing the demo, I'm showing all this now. And then once you click on that, we have to pass in the value called test into that text field. So once I click on the simple form demo, okay, I need to pass in this value. So again, I need to figure out what is the XPath. So if you see, I took ID user message. So once I took this, I'm passing the value text. Okay, let me run this and show you. I'm closing Firefox again. I don't want to keep anything open. It's fine if you keep it open also, but for the demo purpose, I'm closing Firefox. Okay, you see, whatever I taught you, it's just reading the XPath, writing the code. Code again, it is very simple. You have to tell driver, this is the driver for me, which is Firefox. I'm figuring out the XPath. I'm finding the element, find XPath. This was to scroll the page. It's very simple and straightforward. If you write complete WhatsApp web automation also, hardly it was 30-40 lines for me, and I did the entire automation. So I will execute this, show it to you what it will do. I have executed. Let's see when Firefox launches it. Okay, Firefox got launched. It should maximize my window. Yes, done. So you see, guys, the automation is done within no time. Any questions now? Ask me.
Yeah, but we cannot automate one which are submodules, right? We can automate only the modules which are on the buttons which are on the top of the web page. And for those submodules and sub features, we need to manually make test cases and execute it, right?
Correct. So if you are having very specifically something else to do with him, you have to prepare that test case and you have to write the Selenium code accordingly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have one more question. Say suppose if there are two sign-ins on the same web page which are in different location, how do we identify? How do we particularly automate two separate things? Like there are two sign-in buttons in the same web page. Yeah.
Okay. Your question is, let me understand it first. Let me open a Paint. Let me get it. Okay. You are saying this web page has only a single web page. You are having two sign-on buttons, right? Like this, correct? And here there is something called as one, and here you are having something called as, sorry, I should have taken text. You are having something called as two. So on a single web page, you are having two buttons. Is this the same question, Sridhar?
Yeah, right. That's correct.
Okay. So very good thing. It's very simple, Sridhar. So behind HTML, no, for these two, it will be different. The person who has to create HTML, he has to give two different HTMLs for behind. So the XPath for this will be different. The XPath for this will be different. Okay. If you want to log in into this one, you will take XPath of this one only. You will not take XPath of this. If you want to log in into this one, you have to take XPath of this, and you need not take this. So, but the only thing, at a single shot, you want to launch into both the things, you cannot do it, because manually also you cannot do. But you can launch two different browsers. In the first one, you can click on the first one. In the second browser, you can click on the second one. That is concept of multi-threading.
Okay. Yeah, two different. We have to execute. You have to write the test scripts separately and then execute it.
So in that case, you will have two different test scripts. Might be after login, you will do the same thing, but you have to do two different test scripts. Same copy paste, but XPath will be different for login. Okay. I got one question. Yeah, welcome. Can we have some hands-on experience tasks in this course? Yes. So I will make you guys install Anaconda once you join the course. Then I'll make you guys learn Python. I'll give you assignments. You have to practice the assignment. We will keep a session on once you practice the assignment solutions. And once we start with Selenium with Python, I'll ask you some more assignments, like do this task, log in into this page, open this window, all those things. Yes, we will practically do everything. And trust me, even the WhatsApp automation, we will do it together. Any other questions anyone has?
Yeah. Would you also give us a hands-on experience on a real-time project?
Real-time project, I'm not sure. That you have to check with Kumar. But this WhatsApp thing will be like a real-time project only. Okay. That is out of the scope that I'm teaching out of my interest to you guys. Even though it is not there in the course, I'm teaching you guys. Yeah.
Okay. About placement assistance, would you help us with resume preparation?
Okay, that I am not sure, Sridhar, because that is handled by the institute. Might be Kumar will give you that answer. Kumar is the right answer for that.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
My part is until this course. Yeah, after that it is Kumar. Yeah,
Okay.
if you want me to tell you what are the interview questions, I can give you some material you can learn. And it's easy, boss. There is some, obviously there is a Selenium Python bindings. So the good part about Python, no, you can go to python.org, you can read everything. So if you want to read about Selenium Python, there is an entire PDF book. It is hardly 200 pages, 128 pages. Today also, you remember me, even I have 4 years of experience. Before I go to interview, I will just read this while I'm traveling. It will hardly take me some 30 minutes to read this entire book. Okay, while I was in Bangalore, I used to sit in a bus, and then that used to go on for 2 hours, and I used to read this book within 30 minutes and sit arams. So trust me, it is very simple. I'll give you this material, no problem, and I'll give you some questions as well, what they might ask you, because I have also attended many interviews for Selenium with Python.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes, and see, I'm not boasting about myself. I've done a lot of automations with this, and those are running from 4 years, man. 99% success rate. I know this stuff.
Okay, I just have one last question.
Yes, go ahead.
Nowadays, I am wherever I go online or hear from the recruiters or other people, I see that most of them are hiring for Selenium with Java. I rarely come across Selenium with Python. So, what do you think? How good is Python with Selenium? Does it outdo Java?
No, okay, very good question. Might be you missed my first 5 minutes of course. Okay, you are very right. If you check anywhere, currently industry is using Selenium with Java. That I would say 2-3 years back. But today, people are using Selenium with Python. We have replaced completely Java. We never use, even though we have a Java programmer in our project, we don't use any Java project. We don't build any Java projects. We build only Python, because that is the convenient way to write a program. If you compare to Java, Python is very simple. So let me quote it in Naukri also. If you check, you will have a lot of things. And even I have been getting calls in Selenium with Python, but the only thing is they will ask for a shorter notice period, which is not possible for me. So you will have opportunities, man. Selenium, and if you see this slide, trust me, you can Google also, no? But the boom here, the good part about this course, no, I will teach you Python as well. So you see the popularity of Python. And if you know Selenium, there is no stopping you if you are into testing area. That's the brilliant part.
Yeah. And like you said, I missed out the first 10 minutes of your presentation.
Yeah. Anyways, it is recorded. They'll send you the record once you join. And if you have any doubts, you can approach me. There is a WhatsApp group already created. You guys can ping me and I'll reply back. We'll see it how it goes. So that's what I've planned for the demo. So I think we are over the time as well. Yes, exactly 1 minute over. Any other question, guys? I see 9 people and excluding me it is 8. Anyone else has any question? Okay. If no question, guys, thank you for joining. Hope to meet you guys all again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.